Hello and welcome along to episode 68 of the All Things Leeds podcast. I'm Ed McIntyre and joining me remotely is, as always, Charles Foster. Charles, hello.
Hey mate, how you doing?
I'm very well, how are you?
Yeah, I'm okay. I moved house the other day, so still a bit tired from that. There was a lot of lifting, but other than that, I'm sound.
Yeah, I've been very busy over the past month or so. Moved into a flat and then moved into a house. Must be exhausted.
Yeah, I spent a bit of time in a flat just to get with my new housemates to get used to it before they moved house.
Nice. Well, we've got plenty coming up in the show. We'll, of course, look back on Leeds United's sensational 3-0 win over promotion rivals Fulham at Elland Road last Saturday before discussing that frustrating 1-0 draw with Luton at home on Tuesday night. We've got plenty of news to go over as well before we head to Leeds United's next game, which is this Saturday away at Blackburn Rovers. But before we get into any of the topics, as I always like to say in these times, I do want to say a big thank you to all key workers and NHS staff out there for all of your hard work during this pandemic. And just make sure to follow all the advice to help protect the NHS and to save lives. So first of all, let's look back on Saturday's incredible 3-0 win over Fulham at Elland Road. I mean, Charles, this really was fantastic. A big 3 points.
Yeah, it was sort of an interesting tactical battle between Scotty Parker and Marcelo Bielsa. Because in the first half, we looked a bit disjointed and I think we had the lowest passing accuracy we've had for a while. So, that was a bit of a worry. We couldn't really establish any dominance. I think we had our lowest possession percentage as well. I think we're 35%. So we really needed to change it up in the second half, and we did. And we obviously brought in Anders and Alioski on, and they managed to turn the tide. And although we did go 1-0 up in the first half, it wasn't comfortable. We made it much more comfortable in the second half. So yeah, it was a really important result. And that, along with the result after that, that result, I should say, kind of knocked Fulham out the promotion race.
Yeah, I mean, it really was a big 3 points. But yeah, I'd just say that first half, Leeds really were on the back foot. And it's the first time I've seen that under Bielsa, because under Bielsa, we always have so much more possession than the other side. But we really were on the back foot. I mean, the second half, it was second half that was really fantastic. That first half was poor. I mean, you talk about a game of two halves, Charles, and that really was. I mean, we were really poor in that first half, weren't we? It was very nervy.
Yeah, we just couldn't really get any sort of rhythm together, any sort of passing move together, and couldn't really put Fulham under any pressure. It just seemed to be every pass we made was either misplaced or went into a dangerous area, and then that player lost it. So we were kind of constant waves of Fulham attacks.
Yeah, of course, within the first few minutes of the game, Fulham striker Alexander Mitrovic elbowed defender Ben White in the face. It looked very deliberate, and the officials somehow didn't see it. Somehow 4 officials didn't see it, but it should have been a red card. And it has been looked at since by the EFL, and he has been banned for 3 games. 2 games left of that ban now. So yeah, good news for us really, because a big player out of the lineup for a promotion rival. But Charles, I mean, how do 4 officials miss this? I mean, officiating has to improve, because Mitrovic, he could have easily gone on and scored a winner in the game. And if that happens, then you look at it and think, well, should have been sent off in the second minute. So yeah, something needs to be looked at there with the officiating, because that was poor.
Yeah, I mean, fair enough. The referee's 25 yards away and not really looking in the right direction. That's okay. You can just kind of sort of see that, but the linesman didn't see it. The 4th official didn't see it. That seems less likely. They should be focusing on where the ball is. So yeah, it's a bit dubious, but he got banned afterwards anyway. So we got the result we wanted.
Yeah, but I mean, for incidents like that, you need to send them off in the moment, because if you don't, then he goes and scores a win, and then we've been screwed over basically there. But yeah, we got the result in the end we wanted, and yes. No, I wouldn't. Somehow, though, against run of play, Leeds United did take the lead on 10 minutes. It was Helder Costa on the right with the ball, sprinting down the wing, and then pulls the ball back to Bamford, who's running in. And on the edge of the box, he takes a first-time finish, finding the bottom left corner. I mean, Charles, this was a great goal.
Yeah, it kind of came out of a mistake because Bamford took a really heavy touch in the midfield. Harry Arter recovered the ball and then passed it out, but he passed it immediately to Helder Costa, who ran to the byline and obviously crossed it in for Bamford to just have a kind of really composed finish, which is rare for Bamford.
Yeah.
I don't want to get abused for that, but that is rare.
Yeah, it is.
So
I mean,
yeah,
it was a very good finish, and I was surprised when it happened as well because we never take shots like that. So to just see Bamford take a shot first time on the edge of the area, it was very pleasing.
Yeah, it was nice to go 1-0 up against someone to play for once, because a lot of the teams we play go 1-0 up against someone to play.
Yeah.
So it was nice to be on that side of the equation for once.
Yeah, definitely, and yeah, really, really pleased for Bamford, who has now got 14 goals this season. And I mean, Charles, we criticise Bamford a lot, but he is on 14 goals this season, and Kemar Roof was Leeds' top scorer the past 2 seasons with just 15 goals, and we were praising him a lot. So, I mean, is it time we lay off Bamford a bit?
Um, I wouldn't say so because Roof played far less games. Roof was always injured. He'd always be in for a few weeks and then injured for a while and then in for a few weeks. Also, the amount of opportunities that Bamford receives. I mean, 14 goals is the absolute minimum he should be scoring. I think his
Yeah.
expected goals in like the mid-20s or something. So he's missed like 11 clear-cut opportunities or something like that. I mean, we're going to go on to talk about the Luton game shortly, but that's exactly the kind of thing I'm talking about.
Yeah, he misses a lot of big chances, and yeah, 14 goals this season. I mean, he should be on 24 by now with the amount of chances he gets put on the plate for him. But no, goal for Bamford, which is really pleasing. But yeah, that goal was against Southern play. Leeds were really under the cosh for the whole first half. I mean, pegged back by Fulham, who were dominating it in many areas. Fulham created many good chances, which they probably should have scored, but fortunately for us, they didn't find the back of the net. And it was 1-0 to Leeds at half time. But yeah, Charles, I mean, how was it 1-0 to Leeds at half time? Because Fulham really did, players off the park in that first half.
They were sometimes a bit unlucky, like Mitrovic's free header from the corner, that was a bit unlucky. Bobby Reed decking it in the 6-yard box, that was a bit unlucky. But yes, they were like we normally are. They were just making silly mistakes at crucial times. So that's why they couldn't go one. They couldn't score, couldn't equalise before half time, and then obviously the momentum swung, and then they had very little chance of scoring after the break.
Yeah. So you're saying Leeds versus Leeds there?
It was a little bit, yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, Leeds really poor first half. We desperately needed half time, and we needed to make some changes, which Bielsa did. He took Bamford and Helder Costa off for Alioski and Pablo Hernandez, moving Tyler Roberts up front. And Charles, I mean, credit to Bielsa because we needed to make changes, and he did do it. And those changes changed the game.
Yeah, they worked because Bamford wasn't really getting in. Although he scored, he wasn't really getting involved in the play. We were lacking sort of control in the midfield, which Hernandez kind of provided, and they provided a bit more creativity as well. And obviously, we had with Alioski on the left, we pushed Jack Harrison onto the right. So we had Harrison, as we've talked about before, acting as more like an inside forward. And Alioski's been on good form last few games, so having him on the other wing has been he's been really useful. Because obviously he was good in the game after that as well.
Yeah.
Against Luton.
I mean, Pablo and Alioski, they came on and gave Leeds so much more energy, so much more control in that midfield. And yeah, Leeds came out firing in that second half and doubled the lead on 56 minutes. And a really good counter-attacking goal, this one. Cyril Mezier, he catches a corner, throws the ball out to Ayling, who passes it to Pablo in the middle, who finds Jack Harrison on the right first time, and then a first time cross from Jack Harrison, rolling the ball into the box. It somehow managed to find its way to Alioski, who finished nicely. I mean, yeah, a really nice goal, this one. And, Charles, this goal really, really epitomizes Bielsa ball because, yeah, great pick out by Mezier. And yeah, a great counter-attacking goal.
Yeah, it wasn't Pablo in the middle. It was Click. It was Click who fed it onto the wing towards Harrison. But yeah, this was another mistake from Bobby Reed, who had a bit of an anonymous game in general because the corner comes into him in the box and he tries to like overhead kick it, but completely mistimes it. So it has no power in it, which means Mezier can kind of gather it easily and we can hit them immediately on the break. yeah, it's a good pick out to Elland, who feeds it to Click, who, yeah, as you say, it's the first time sort of flick on down the wing for Harrison to chase, which is exactly the kind of balls that Harrison likes, chasing down the wing, those kind of speculative long range ones, as we'll talk about the third goal as well. But this one, yeah, he feeds it in, and it's a bit of a comedy of errors. I mean that, and yeah, with the Fulham's defending, because the ball comes in, it's kind of a weak cross, but it evades everybody. I mean, Tyler Roberts decks it. At least two of their defenders deck it as well, and another one of their defenders decks it when Alioski's taking the shot. So yeah, it's a really composed finish from Alioski, and he was. It really kind of solidified our position in the game, because it didn't look like we were going to cock it up from that point. Sorry, that's.
No, it's fine. It's fine. But yeah, you went 2-0 up in the game, and then that was really game over for Fulham, really, because we were on top at that point. But yeah, Harrison's cross, I mean, yeah, quite a weak cross, and it somehow managed to find Alioski. And yeah, Alioski, a nice, calm and composed finished, which those two words we don't usually associate with Alioski, because I think moments before this as well, he had just smashed the ball right over the bar. Every time Alioski gets in positions like that, he always, gets really giddy and does something stupid. But no, a nice, calm and composed finish here for once.
Yeah, it was a good finish, and his celebration was funny as well. Sarve into the crowdies and stuff. Yeah, it was good. It meant we could play with a bit more freedom towards the from in the second half, I should say, because the 2-0 cushion was good. It meant we could hold kind of Fulham at arm's length a bit.
Yeah, definitely. You mentioned Alioski celebrating with the crowdies, blowing kisses to the crowdies after the game as well, who was applauding the crowdies. And, you look at it and think, yeah, he's a madman. He's clapping cardboard cutouts. But, I appreciate that because, I bought one, and, behind each crowdie is an investment for my fans. So, I appreciate that gesture from Alioski. I really do. But yeah, Leeds made it 3-0 on a 71 minutes. Jack Harrison with the goal here. But, Charles, this is all about the assist from Pablo Hernandez, isn't it? A nice finish from Jack Harrison, but what a ball from Pablo Hernandez.
Yeah, I think we win the ball back in the defensive third, and he's in a lot of space. So he holds his arms up like the same way he did at West Brom last season when he was on the edge of the box trying to get their attention. I think he said in an interview after the game as well, it looked like he did at the time. He took a quick look, see where Jack Harrison was just before he asked for the pass, so he knew he could immediately, I should say, just chip that ball over the top and find him. And it's great for Harrison to hold off Joe Bryan, the Fulham's left back, and to a little bit fortunate, or possibly skillful, trying to get nutmegging the keeper, getting through the keeper's legs, and to score the goal. And that was the end of the game. That finished it. That was fine.
Yeah, I mean, it was a very good finish from Jack Harrison, but I mean, that pass from Pablo Hernandez, I mean, just what an assist. First time ball over the top to Jack Harrison. And then yeah, Jack Harrison, nice, calm and composed finish to make it 3-0. But yeah, Pablo Hernandez, I mean, he really did change the game, didn't he, Pablo Hernandez? I mean, even at 35 years old, he is just incredible. I mean, him and Jack Harrison made it into the Championship Team of the Week this week. So congratulations to them both. But I mean, Pablo Hernandez got the Team of the Week without even playing a full half, as he was subbed off in the 90th minute for Jamie Shackleton. So, it just tells you, doesn't it, how good Pablo Hernandez was in this game.
Yeah, he was instrumental to getting the control in midfield, which allowed us to properly dominate possession again, get and play our usual style, which we couldn't do in the first half. So he really was the game-changing substitution.
Yeah, definitely. And yeah, Jack Harrison as well. A word on Jack Harrison, because in this game, he started out on the left, and then the second half moved over to the right, and Alioski was on the left. And Jack Harrison on the right here got himself an assist and a goal. And, we saw it back in January against Arsenal in that FA Cup tie. Jack Harrison playing on the right, he was fantastic, could have scored a few goals there. But no, here, playing on the right, an assist and a goal. I just think he's so much better on that right wing. I don't know about you, Charles, but I think he's so much better on the right compared to the left.
I think it's just because he's not one of them wingers that likes running straight to the byline and whipping the cross in. He loves the cut inside. So being on the right, he allows him to cut inside onto his stronger foot. his left foot, and he just gives him that bit more control because he loves running with the ball. He's not really he doesn't really like receiving it and then crossing it immediately. He likes to run with it a bit, to dribble a bit. So maybe being on the right is possibly better for him, especially given the kind of inconsistent form of Helder Costa. We could just stick him on the right and then start Alioski on the left.
Yeah, but then Alioski, though, I guess he's kind of a super sub, really. Alioski comes on late on when everyone else is tired, and he just runs rings around everyone else. So, I guess you'll lose that if you start Alioski. But Alioski's been great and probably does deserve a start, to be fair. But I cast my mind back as well to that whole game, and Jack Harrison. There was one point in that game where he cut inside, had a shot on goal, and it hit the bar. So yeah, I think Jack Harrison, as you say on the right, he keeps hold of the ball, he likes cutting in. And I just think he's so much better on that side. I mean, he does a great job on that left-hand side, don't get me wrong. Does a great job. But I just think, whenever he's popped up on the right-hand side, he's just done such a better job. So I really want to see that moving forward. But yeah, 3-0 win for Leeds here. Actually, before we move on, in fact, Jamie Shackleton, who came on in added time for Pablo Hernandez, he in fact becomes the first ever fifth substitution Leeds have made in a competitive game. So yeah, interesting fact there.
Pop quiz question for the future.
Yeah, definitely. But yeah, 3-0 win for Leeds United over Fulham here. A huge 3 points. That's all Leeds move back to the top of the Championship table and maintain that gap to third. And yeah, Charles, a great response from that disappointing 2-0 loss away at Cardiff City the previous week.
Yeah, we didn't arrive back in the right. I don't know whether it was a state of mind or whether it was the motivation or whether we're physically not up to it, but I imagine we probably were. It was just in the Cardiff game where we just didn't seem to have any kind of penetration, any ability to get through them because of the way that Cardiff play under Neil Harris, that kind of deep block with the huge, mutant giants they've got in their team. We couldn't really whipping crosses into the box. They just got cleared easily. So yeah, it was a little bit of a worrying start. Obviously, the result of it against Fulham helped ease the nerves a bit.
Yeah, definitely. I think everyone's mood lifted after that Fulham win because it was such a big result. And in fact, as well, that was Marcelo Bielsa's 50th win as Leeds United head coach. And in doing it in just 93 competitive games, Bielsa becomes the quickest to do so in the club's history. Thank you to Andrew Dalton for that stat. But yeah, incredible. 50 wins in 93 competitive games. The quickest manager to do so in the club's history. So yeah, interesting stat there. And that win over Fulham set Leeds in good stead heading into Tuesday night's game against Luton Town at Elland Road. And, there was so much optimism going into that Luton game because Luton, they're in the bottom three. We're top of the league. It should have been 3 points, but Leeds could only pick up 1 point, drawing 1-1. I mean, Charles, to sum up Tuesday night, the word is probably frustrating.
Yeah, it is frustrating, and as you were saying about the amount of optimism, it really is the hope that kills you. Because we thought we'd finish off Fulham, we'd come in and we'd steamroll Luton, and we got into Blackburn with a really healthy advantage. But obviously the advantage has been curtailed because obviously we're recording after the West Brom have won and after Brentford have won. Both of them won 3-0. So yeah, it was a bit of a bad game week for us. So yeah, it was frustrating.
Yeah, definitely frustrating. And yeah, it wasn't great from Leeds, really. Not the best of performances. But a few people said that Leeds deserved to win, and I'd agree to some extent because we did play the better football than Luton. But I'd actually argue that a point apiece was fair because Leeds, we quite frankly didn't do enough to win the game, and Luton defended well. They came to Elland Road, set up defensively, and earned a point. And yeah, Luton, you got to give them credit. They defended resolutely.
Well, yeah, that's what you have to do when you're in a relegation battle, and they're in decent form, and they've got to pick their games that you're going to try and win, and pick the games where they're going to settle for a draw. And this was just a game they were going to settle for a draw, which is understandable. So, yeah, fair play to them.
Yeah, I mean that point as well for Luton, that'll go a long way for them, because it keeps their survival hopes alive. So yeah, a big pointer for Luton. So yeah, fair play to them. But we knew that it would be like that. We knew that Luton were going to come and sit back, make themselves hard to beat, and there would be less space in behind to exploit because, coming into the game, people said, oh, yeah, we beat Fulham 3-0, so we'll beat Luton Town 5-0 or 6-0 because they're a crap side. But, we managed to beat Fulham 3-0 because, Fulham, they were coming at us. They wanted to beat us as much as we wanted to beat them. And, the way they play attacking football. They press high up the pitch, and they leave a lot of space in behind for us to exploit in the counter attack. But Luton Town, they don't do that. They sit back, they park the bus, and they frustrate teams and grind out results. So we knew that they were going to set up like that. We knew that it was going to be difficult. And yeah, Leeds just short on ideas. Really frustrating. And Charles, it always happens, doesn't it, against the lesser teams in the league?
Yeah, I mean, this season, what have we got? 4 points against West Brom, 4 points against Brentford, 3 points against Fulham. We've done well against the better teams. We've lost to Wigan. We've lost some weird games. Obviously, we dropped points against Luton this week. So, and we struggled against Barnsley as well. Although we won the game, we struggled down there for a long time, for kind of 70, 75 minutes. So
yeah.
It is always we lost against Wednesday as well when they were in a bit of a tailspin. We were at 1 point off Wednesday this season. So we have struggled a little bit against the weaker teams. I don't know whether it's just, like you say, just the deep block. We can't really seem to get through the kind of more defensive teams. But I would think so, because we tend to do better against the teams that actually try and play.
Yeah, I mean, it is incredibly frustrating because these are games that we should be winning, but we just struggle. I mean, yeah, the story of the night was Leeds were just short on ideas and just missed chances. I mean, Patrick Bamford, what is Patrick Bamford doing there? I mean, Jack Harrison, he's made a fantastic run down the left with the ball, beating, two or three men. Great cross, put it on a plate for Bamford, who's 3 in the box, 5 yards out. And then he just misses the ball completely. I mean, I feel sorry for Jack Harrison because that run really deserved an assist. He did deserve an assist for that, but Patrick Bamford just made an absolute mess of it. I mean, what was he doing, Charles?
I mean, he claimed he lost it in the floodlights, then he lost the ball in the lights, which I think is a feeble excuse, frankly.
Yeah, I mean, Helder Costa, he used that excuse as well, did Helder Costa after the game for his chance late on. The last chance of the game, really, Helder Costa just messing up that header completely as well. And, both Bamford and Helder Costa blamed the floodlights for losing the sight of the ball. But, I don't really buy that excuse, do you?
No, not remotely. I think they just made mistakes, and they need to admit they're making mistakes, and they need to admit they're out of form, really. Despite Bamford's goal, he is out of form. Helder Costa's been inconsistent all season. He's out of form. And it's just frustrating because we really, really should have beaten them, and it would have been, we kind of needed to beat them.
Yeah, I mean, it would have been another big 3 points. But, going back to those excuses, I mean, no one has ever said that. Literally no one has ever blamed the floodlights for anything at Elland Road. And I doubt that they've changed them during lockdown. So, yeah, I don't really know what that is. I just think it's just looking for excuses when, quite frankly, they should have put them away. Bamford, easy chance for him, just completely missing it. And Helder Costa, just a very, very weak header. I mean, Charles, Helder Costa, what are your thoughts on him? I mean, he's not great, is he? He's not worth £15 million.
No, he's not. I've been very disappointed with Costa this season because we thought we were getting a really, really talented winger that was just, undervalued by Wolves management, and he's turned up and nothing's really clicked. He's got a few assists here and there, a couple of goals, but for the amount of money we paid for him, we should be looking at double figures goals and assists. So
yeah, I mean, we haven't paid a penny for him yet. It's just high wages.
Yeah,
you'd imagine.
And he's obviously drifted in and out of games. And he was making crucial mistakes at crucial times, like Bamford. Very similar to Bamford in that regard.
I mean, he's just not cutting it at the moment, is he, Helder Costa?
No, he's not.
Yeah, and as you said earlier, it's probably worth dropping Helder Costa and Patrick Bamford, starting Jack Harrison on the right, Alioski on the left, and then Roberts at number 9, Pablo in number 10. That's the way I'd set up moving forward. I don't know about you.
Yeah, but Hernandez can't play 90 minutes at the moment, so that ain't going to happen, unfortunately. He's still nursing that hamstring injury.
Yeah. And we need to mention the corners as well on Tuesday, because the corners were shocking. Absolutely shocking. it's about time we changed something up there because corners and set pieces were awful. I mean, there was that point in first half, towards the end of the first half, where we just had corner after corner after corner, and any other team who got 5 or 6 corners in the space of 2 minutes probably would have scored at least one of them. But instead, Leeds, I think one of the corners went right out to the halfway line. They keep on getting headed out, nothing happening. I mean, corners and set pieces, Charles, they were awful.
They generally are awful. It's one of the weakest parts of our game. I really don't know why we aren't fixing that up. Why we aren't. If I was Bielsa, I don't like to pretend I know more than he does. I definitely don't. But you've been thinking about it and thinking, all our corners are terrible here. We either don't beat the first man, or we overhit, or it gets cleared easily, or we take it short and lose the ball, or it ends up back at Meslier's feet somehow. There does need to be a change in who takes the corners. So,
yeah. I mean, personally, I'd put wingers on corners because wingers, their job is to cross the ball. Their job is to cross the ball into the box. That's their bread and butter. So for me, I'd put wingers on the corners. What would you do?
I think I had like Hernandez on corners, but he's not playing all the time at the moment. Obviously, Harrison and Alioski are both left-footed, so you need someone who can take the other side as well. I don't know. We need to change something up a bit. We need to probably take Phillips off corners because he's clearly not suited to it.
Yeah,
his dead ball delivery isn't great.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, he's decent at free kicks. This Callum Phillips almost scored a free kick in this game, but yeah, corners they definitely need working on, definitely because they were shocking in this game. But yeah, getting into the actual game then. So yeah, Leeds miles better in the first half than Luton. Luton didn't lay a glove on Leeds at all in that first half, but yeah, Leeds struggled to create many chances at all. I can only remember 1 or 2. Bamford early on, Roberts shooting miles over from close range, and Click at the end of the half as well. We struggled to create many chances. But Leeds dealt with a big blow on 10 minutes as a defender and captain Liam Cooper went off with what looked to be a lower back problem. And he was really struggling to walk and to move. So yeah, Charles, it wasn't a good sight to see. And, you'd hope that Cooper isn't going to be out for a long time.
Well, Bielsa said after the game he doesn't expect Cooper's injury to be long-lasting. It was probably just a bit of a knock, I don't know whether he's bruised it or whether he's just hit a nerve or something like that. But Bielsa seemed to think he'll be okay. Obviously, Berardi came on and then went off again, which is a bit odd because we decided to change the system up a bit. We had to go 3 at the back, but that didn't really work because we conceded a few minutes into the second half.
Yeah, we did. I mean, you mentioned Berardi there. Berardi coming on for Cooper and going off at half time. I kind of feel sorry for Berardi because he didn't do much wrong, really. But yeah, Berardi subbed off at half time. No at half time. He also felt the need to change things, change the whole formation. So yeah, Berardi went off Alioski. Leeds moved to back 3 of Erling, Phillips, and Ben White with Dallas and Alioski as the wing backs. I mean, yeah, as I say, probably harsh on Berardi. He didn't do much wrong. But you know what, Charles? I'm not surprised that Bielsa did change things up because probably needed to happen. And you know what? I'm actually surprised that we didn't start with 3 at the back because Luton, they tend to play 2 up front. So I was surprised that we didn't play 3 at the back to start with.
Yeah, it was. We generally play 3 at the back when teams play 2 up front, but for some reason we decided to go with the general kind of 4-1-4-1 style formation for this one. I don't really know. I don't know what to say with regards to this. It was just it was an interesting gamble by Bielsa because I think he at half time because he needed obviously something needed to change. We needed to create more opportunities and we needed to be more forward thinking, and we weren't getting much done with the 4-1-4-1. But getting done on the counter like that from the corner was a bit terrible. The finish was good.
Definitely was. Give credit to Harry Cornick. I mean, I'd argue that the change, they worked because I felt as though we were playing much better in the second half compared to the first. But in saying that, Luton went ahead just 5 minutes into that second half. Yeah, 5 minutes into the second half, Leeds conceded. Halftime substitute Harry Cornick with the goal scoring for Luton on 50 minutes on the counter. And yeah, Charles, as you mentioned, to be fair to the lad, it was a good finish. It was a very good finish.
It was, and that they must be buzzing at that because that gives them the opportunity to just completely sit back. I mean, thankfully
Which they did.
we equalised. We equalised like 12 minutes later, which was after Hernandez came on, which was useful. But yeah, they started to just time waste from that moment onward to just try and drag the game. Not drag the game out, but break up the players as much as possible, not allow us to get any rhythm and try and see the result out. But obviously, they still got what they wanted because they still got something from the game, but they didn't get 3 points.
Yeah. But yeah, as I say, credit to Harry Cornick because it was a good finish, but probably too easy for Luton because on the counter, just one simple through ball to him, and then he cuts inside and loops it over Meslier and finds the top right hand corner. But yeah, credit to him, nice finish. But I mean, could we have done better, Charles? Could the defenders have got tighter to him?
Yeah, I think we were saying that for the Junior Hoylett goal at Cardiff as well. We need to make the challenge sooner. If the challenge has to be made, then we have to make it sooner.
Yeah.
If you're going to try and jockey someone out of a good position, that's fair enough. But if you need to make the challenge, then make the challenge. Because however bad you think the free kick is going to be, it's not as bad as someone burying it top corner.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you just need to make one. Make one for the team and just go in and just absolutely clatter him, try win the ball, or just concede a tactical foul. They call it, don't they? But yeah, Leeds probably should have done better. But absolute credit to Harry Cornick. It was a fantastic finish that made it 1-0 to Luton on 50 minutes. But on 63 minutes, Leeds United managed to find an equaliser. And yeah, nice build up here. And then Alioski with just a nice calm pass, easy pass into Stuart Dallas, who's in the box. And yeah, a nice finish from Stuart Dallas, Charles.
It was, yeah. It was a great find from Alioski to find Dallas in that position in the box. And a composed kind of a really decent finish from Stuart Dallas. And that put us right back in the game. And we looked like we were going to go push on and win it. And I thought we would push on and win it, but obviously we had the opportunities to win it as well, but we just couldn't take them, so we had to settle for the draw.
Yeah, and speaking of Dallas as well, they went off in added time for Jamie Shackleton. Looked to be a hamstring pull, which it isn't good. It isn't a good sign. I mean, hamstring injuries. The players who have hamstring injuries are usually out for 4 to 6 weeks or whatever. Hopefully it's just it was just a precautionary move because Stuart Dallas. I mean, he would be a big miss if he's out for a long time.
He would be a big miss, and I think he is going to miss the Blackburn game, Stuart Dallas, with his muscle injury. He's been really useful this season. He's been really good because obviously Barry Douglas hasn't really cut it at left back, so we had to put somebody in there. And he's been a really able player. He can play left back, right back, centre midfield if required. He can play in the wing if need be. So he's a really useful player to have in the squad as Stuart Dallas.
Yeah, he's a very, very good player, Stuart Dallas. Very versatile, and I'd say he's been one of the players of the season. He has been absolutely fantastic as Stuart Dallas. So, yeah, hopefully he's not out for too long. Hopefully it was just a precautionary move. Yeah, because he would be a big miss if he's out for a number of weeks. So yeah, Dallas's goal won Leeds a point here, a point which kept Leeds at the top of the Championship table on 75 points, 1 point above West Brom, who are in second, and 6 points above Brentford, who are in third. I mean, Charles, it's not time to start panicking yet, is it?
No, of course not. There's still 6 points, so that's 2 games of completely failing, worth of cushion between us and third. But obviously West Brom look like they picked up form again against Wednesday. If they push on, then and Brentford are on fire at the moment, so we could easily be nudged at the top 2 if we're not careful. We really need to pick up a bit of form.
Yeah,
and our
definitely.
next game is a perfect chance to do that.
Yeah, but I mean, is a point at the end of the world though? I mean, because you look back at the Fulham game, if you flip those 2 results around and we had drawn against Fulham and then beat Luton Town, then no one would be complaining. So yeah, a point's not the end of the world here, is it?
It's not the end of the world, no, but it really depends on how the next couple of games go. If we get 2 wins the next couple of games, then nobody's going to care because we'll be well on our way towards and maybe winning the league, maybe come top 2. But for now, it just seems like whenever we drop points and someone else behind us gains ground, Brentford are always gaining ground, and no one's been able to stop them so far. West Brom finally gained a bit of ground, so it's not like the end of the world, but it's a little bit concerning because we do need to be beating these teams. We've got a very favourable run in, and we need to take advantage of it.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, yeah, it's a massive opportunity missed because we really should have beaten Luton. And as you say, the next few games, if we lose against Blackburn, lose against Stoke, and then you're looking back on that Luton game thinking we should have won that, and that would have been a big 3 points. Excuse me. So yeah, I mean, yeah, a point's not the end of the world for now, but come back to us for next week, and we'll discuss that. But yeah, point for Leeds. We move on to Saturday, of course, and that game away at Blackburn Rovers, which Charles and I will preview later on in the show. So moving on to some news now, and last week it was reported by The Independent and Leeds Live that Bundesliga side RB Leipzig are interested in bringing Leeds United Director of Football Victor Orta to Germany. Now take these reports with a pinch of salt, obviously, but Charles, if Victor Orta was to leave Leeds tomorrow, what would your reaction be?
I think Orta's had a very mixed time at Leeds because he's made a lot of mistakes. The 2017-2018 season, for example, was a bit of a shambles because of all the, and we're still suffering from some of his mistakes because we've still got players on the books. Still got, I think Lawrence DeBock is still on the books. We've still got Usain Boy. We gave him a 4-year deal worth 20 grand a week. Never played a game for us.
Yeah, I mean that 2017 summer transfer window, Victor Orta's first summer at Leeds, it was a shambles because we signed a lot of average players on long-term contracts for quite a bit of money as well. So, it's a bit shocking.
We've still got Uno Kane on the books until the end of next season. We've still got J-Roy Grott on the books till the end of next season because we gave them all 4-year deals. So it cost us a lot of money. This Augustin thing, I've read somewhere, I don't know if this is accurate, that should Augustin leave and not come back, we will have paid him £94,100 per minute he's played for Leeds United.
Wow.
Which is mental. Insane. Yeah, the signings he's made have been very questionable. I mean, we've committed a lot towards Helder Costa as well, and doesn't look like he's going to live up to the price tag. So, I mean, he clearly cares a lot, and he's signed some good players for us. But we've also made a lot of mistakes with him as well.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of the moves that Victor Orta has made have been great, but a lot of them haven't been great. I mean, we spent a fortune in that 2017 summer window, and so many of those players just haven't cut it at Leeds United, and Victor Orta needs to take the blame for that. And I mean, that season as well, a lot of people turned against Victor Orta. I remember me and you away at Preston on the terraces singing Orta out. So, it's definitely questionable in that 2017 season, 2017-18 season. But, since 2018, though, Victor Orta's been great. Of course, brought Bielsa to the club, which is massive, so a great job there. And then, a few signings that he's made since then have been decent. Ben White was good. I'm trying to think of others. NkGhTg kind of worked well. Elon Meslier was a decent pick out. So a few moves have worked out, but a lot of signings he's made have been pretty crap. So I'd probably say he's done a decent job. Of course, bringing Bielsa to the club was massive because Bielsa just changed an average side into a fantastic team. But Victor Orta's he's done a decent job, and there's no hiding the fact that Victor Orta is an important part to the whole system at Leeds United. He really is. We've got the owner, Andrea Verzani, who's got Angus Kinnear, who does all the, the PR stuff, and then Victor Orta, who does all the, finding players and finding deals, and then Bielsa, the head coach, who, picks who he likes. So, Victor Orta is a big part to the system at Leeds United, and if he did leave, then we would need to find a replacement for him. But, I am sure that there's probably, much better directors of football out there.
Yeah.
Yeah, interesting reports there. Ones to keep an eye on. I've obviously take them with a pinch of salt. Well, moving on, and it was announced on a Wednesday that Leeds United will not be extending Jean-Kevin Augustin's loan from RB Leipzig to cover the rest of the 2019-20 season. The 23-year-old striker leaves Leeds having played just 48 minutes of first-team football. I mean, Charles, we've discussed it the past few weeks. I think we both saw this coming.
Yeah, I mean, he's just been injured constantly, or not in the right shape, or not really up to speed with how Bielsa wants to play it, and it's been that's just how it's been. It's been a bit. It hasn't been a successful signing. We really needed a backup to, not even a backup, just another striking option, and he really hasn't been it, and it's been gutting really, because a player like him playing at their full potential would be really useful at this back end of the season, the important end of the season.
Yeah, I mean, there was a lot of excitement when Augustin arrived at Leeds because, we really needed a striker and he had a good reputation. And yeah, there was a lot of optimism, about it. We thought it was going to be fantastic. But yeah, Bielsa's system, he likes to get his players up to scratch and he never really could it, made an impact to the first team for quite a few weeks. And when he did, he didn't make a huge impact. Obviously not helped by, a few knocks and, a few injuries and little niggles that he's had. But yeah, it hasn't been a successful move at all, really, for both parties. And yeah, his loan deal, of course, expired on the 30th of June. But there is a clause in that loan deal which says that if Leeds go up, then we have to sign him for around £15 million or so. And, Charles, it's understandable why Leeds want out of that deal because he hasn't made a huge impact, and £15 million splash on a player. It's a lot of money for a player who hasn't made an impact at the club.
Well, we're committing a lot of money on players that we already have, and that some players that we're committing money on aren't strictly worth it. And we don't. If we're going to commit a combined 32 million on, or 33 million or whatever it is on Helder Costa and Jean-Kevin Augustin, it's not going to go well in the Premier League. And there's a certain amount of money, and especially with the news that we're going to get onto shortly, we're going to have even less money at our disposal, aren't we?
Yeah, definitely. But there are reports that say RB Leipzig have made it clear to Leeds. I've made it clear that Leeds have to sign him if they go up. I mean, yeah, Leipzig, they don't want out of the deal. Leeds do. I mean, Charles, this could get very messy.
Yeah, it sounds like a massive legal battle, which is going to cost millions as well. So,
yeah,
I don't know what grounds Leeds are going to try and get out of the contract. Whether there's a amount of playing time he has to have had or anything like that. But if the RB Leipzig lawyers are convinced that it's watertight, then it doesn't leave me with a lot of hope.
Yeah, no, not much hope at all. But yeah, an interesting situation there. We'll need to see how that one unfolds. And finally, speaking of Leeds United going up, the Guardian are reporting that the Premier League will be making newly promoted clubs pay £8 million to cover its debts. I mean, Charles, do we really want promotion to the Premier League now?
Well, this could be the sign of the bubble starting to burst a bit, because obviously Wigan went into administration a couple of days before we record this. The apparently 10 to 15 clubs in the Football League could be facing administration. The Premier League is even tightening its belt because COVID has restricted their finances somewhat. I find this laughable, and honestly, if there's not a legal requirement to do it, then tell them no. We've got no obligation to pay their gambling debts, because that's what it is. They've gambled on spending too much money on wages, too much money on players, too much money on staff and management, and now they require newly promoted team from the EFL, which has no money whatsoever, to bail them out when they get at minimum £100 million a year. Do one, frankly, they can do one.
Yeah, I'd agree. I mean, I think it is disgraceful. If these reports are true and the Premier League want newly promoted clubs to pay them £8 million to cover its debts, I mean, yeah, it's disgraceful. It really is disgraceful. I mean, you look at it. If clubs like Luton Town get promoted, who have no money at all, £8 million to just pay the Premier League, it's a lot of money for them. So yeah, I think it is pretty disgraceful, pretty disgusting, really. And yeah, quite frankly, the Premier League can do one. But We still want to go up though. We still want to go up because quite frankly, if Leeds United don't go up, then that sets us back for a number of years. But yeah, not a great read there. So yeah, hopefully there's not much in that, but yeah, an interesting story there. Let's now look ahead to Leeds United's next game, which sees them take on Blackburn Rovers away from home this Saturday. It's a 3 p.m. kickoff, and the only place to watch the game is on LUTV. So make sure you get your match pass. You set all that up well in advance if you're wanting to watch the game. Now, Charles, Blackburn, they've just got 1 win in 7, 3 losses, 3 draws, and 1 win in the last 7 league games. Losing the last 2 games, both 2-0. Away at Wigan and then away at Barnsley. So, yeah, Charles, it should be a win on Saturday.
Nailed on loss. Cheers for the jinx there, mate. No, these are exactly the kind of teams that we would lose to. I mean, admittedly, Luton were in a bit of form, but I think Ben Brereton got sent off in the last game as well, a straight red card. So that's another. Yeah. But apparently, he hasn't been playing that well for them anyway. I don't really know how this game's going to go. If we turn up like the second half of Fulham game, we will rip them to shreds. If we concede a silly goal or, make mistakes like we did against Cardiff or not get into our rhythm like the first half against Fulham, then we're going to make it difficult for ourselves. And I imagine that Tony Mowbray is just going to set them up like Nathan Jones set Luton up, just sit deep, hit him on the counter, play set pieces, waste time. All those things are going to happen.
Yeah.
What we really would need would be an early goal. If we got an early goal, that would really open the game up, and everything would be sorted from there.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, you look at it as well. Every time we go ahead, we usually win the game. Majority of the time we've gone ahead in games and we've ended up winning them. So yeah, an early goal would do wonders. But yeah, it's going to be a frustrating game. But Blackburn, we should be beating them. They're an average team. I mean, they have some decent players, Bradley Dack and Adam Armstrong, but they also have 35-year-old Stuart Downing starting in midfield. So yeah, an average team really.
Is Dak back from injury yet? Because I know he did his ACL, didn't he?
I don't know. Let me look up that now. Have a look. Bradley Dack. I'll just go on Blackburn Rovers' last lineup. Yeah, Bradley Dack did not start and he wasn't on the bench. So yeah, he's probably still out injured, to be fair, which is good news, I guess.
Yeah, so imagine whenever I see him play against us, he doesn't do particularly well. So, but he is their best player. So Armstrong normally causes a bit of trouble because he's fast and he's a little relatively skillful. So he'll be the one to watch, I imagine.
Yeah, definitely. But Blackburn, they're still an average side that we should be beating. But yeah, Tony Mowbray's side, they are 10th in the league on a 56 points, 5 points below the playoff places. So, they may feel that they can make a late push for the playoffs. Even though they definitely won't make the playoffs, but they may feel that they could make a late push for the top 6. So yeah, they probably have something to play for, I guess. But we still should be beating them. Looking at whoscored.com, Blackburn's strengths, they are very strong at creating long shot opportunities and very strong at defending set pieces. And the weaknesses, they are very weak at avoiding offside and very weak at protecting the lead. Blackburn style of play, they attack through the middle, play with width, rotate their first 11, and they are non-aggressive. So, yeah, I mean, to be fair, if they're rotating their first 11, then they could be, unpredictable, really.
Yeah, I mean, Luton rotated their first 11 for the last game. There's not really much we can say about Blackburn and excelling the virtues. We should just be going to this game and winning. We need to win it.
Yeah, definitely.
It's as simple as that. By any means, we need to win the game. Get 3 points.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, Blackburn, they're 10th. We're top of the league. Yeah, Blackburn 10th. We're top of the league. We should be beating them. We definitely should be beating them. And yeah, let's hope Leeds can just keep on picking up the points and get the job done. Other games to look out for this weekend, you got Brentford versus Wigan, Fulham versus Birmingham, and West Brom versus Hull. And yeah, I reckon that Fulham, West Brom, and Brentford, I reckon they'll win their games. So yeah, Charles, would you say it's a must win for us on Saturday?
I mean, Brentford might have a little bit more trouble against Wigan because they are, even though the club's in a bit of a shambles, the team is actually in good form. So that might be more interesting to watch. It is a must win. Yeah, we need to win it. Yeah, I would say that.
Yeah, I definitely would say it's a must win. Just try and get the job done as soon as possible, really. And yeah, Leeds, we could have a chance of winning the game on Saturday. We have a good record against Blackburn Rovers, 6 wins and 1 loss in the last 7 meetings. We of course beat Blackburn 2-1 at Elland Road earlier in the season, back in November. And yeah, Charles, will we do the double over them? What's your score prediction for Saturday?
1-0 Leeds.
I'm going to go 2-1 to Leeds United. We should win. We need to win, and yeah, I reckon we will win. So yeah, you're going 1-0. I'm going to go 2-1 to Leeds United. Yeah, Leeds United just need good concentrate on themselves and yeah, do what's needed. And yeah, hopefully we get the 3 points on Saturday. Well, that brings us to the end of episode 68 of the All Things Leeds podcast. Thank you very much, as always, to Charles for joining me.
No worries, mate. Thanks for having me on.
Really appreciate you joining me again, Charles, as always. And thanks to everyone who has watched or listened. We really do appreciate it. If you enjoyed them, why not subscribe or follow the podcast? Give us a 5-star rating on Apple Podcasts if you are listening on there. Share the podcast around as well. It really does help us out. We really do appreciate it. Make sure to follow All Things Leeds on social media. We are on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Search for All Things Leeds. On Facebook and YouTube, search for All Things Leeds 1 on Twitter and Instagram. Make sure to keep up to date with everything that is happening and make sure you don't miss anything from All Things Leeds. And yeah, speaking on not missing anything, after the Blackburn game this weekend, we will be live with a match reaction as we've done for the past 2 games. And yeah, the last one went really well. So yeah, hopefully we get a lot of people watching live on a Saturday after the Blackburn game, and what hopefully is a win. But yeah, with the podcast, Charles and I, we will be back next week. We'll be back a little bit earlier next week to hopefully look back on a win against Blackburn and then look ahead to that Stoke game. So yeah, until next week, take care, stay healthy, stay safe, and we'll speak to you soon.